Hello, everybody. My name is Russell B. Hill, and I'm your host of WTF, and that is What the Fixed Ops to all of you. And I'm joined today by...
I'm Charity Dunning. I am the co-host here. And before I introduce you to our guest today, I want to shout out our sponsor, WYNN'S. Support the people who support us. There's a link in the description below. And now I want to introduce you to our guest today. It is Charlie Monteleone. He is the corporate fixed operations director at Ancira Enterprises. Charlie, welcome to the show.
All right, thank you, Charity. It's great to see you. Hello, Russell.
Welcome, Charlie. Yeah, listen, I know Charlie, so I mean, we got to keep it clean, Charlie. Okay.
Oh, come on! You just ruined it.
Well, we are talking to automotive people, but we are really humbled and honored and glad that you're here today to share your experience, strength, and hope with a lot of wisdom that you have. And we always start with, Charity does a phenomenal job, which incidentally, hold on a second. Everybody out there, y'all know what's coming, but we wouldn't even be where we're at today or have something like this if it wasn't for Charity. And also now Patrick, who is our marketing manager. So Charity, thank you for all you do and what you've done for this industry. But today, Charlie, listen, how long have I known you, Charlie? Years and years and years.
Yeah, it's been a decade or two.
Yeah. So he is the corporate fixed ops director. And, you know, I got to tell you, let me tell you my first experience with him, because I've done business with him through all three of my companies. This is the way I remember it. Charlie, I feel pretty confident will straighten me out if I'm wrong somewhere. But I've known somebody a little longer, Glenn Stanley, who's the variable fixed ops director, right? Or a variable, variable director. So anyway, he'd help facilitate me getting in front of Charlie. And we already had a few of our products in his stores with fixed ops marketing. And I remember walking in, I was a little scared, actually, you know, because Glenn kind of set me up, said, man, be prepared for this guy, but he's really a good guy. So I stopped in and at his office and introduced myself and sat down. He was finishing up on the phone with somebody or something like that. And we just started talking, and I was going to show him everything that we were doing, you know, because I wanted to get all the rest of the stores. And before I could even do anything, he said, no, hold on a minute. He wanted me to pull up some names and numbers of one of the stores. He wanted to see, because we didn't have DMS access, he wanted to see if, before we even get any of these people actually coming in from our tool, because he knew about our tool. And he pulled up, the way I remember, CDK, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, CDK. And I think the first 3 or 4 out of 5 or something along those lines, actually, after they engaged with our video coupons, actually came in the service department within a few days. Am I close to being right, Charlie?
You are very close, Russell,
okay.
As I was blown away.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Now, with all that being said, Charlie, who are you? I mean, we know your name, but how did you get started? How did you get here? How did you get the very prestigious position you have? Because it is to be, what is it, 11, 12, 13 stores, something like that?
Yeah, we're at 12 rooftops, yeah.
12 rooftops. How do you get to be in a position like that? And where did you get your start? And you have a lot of passion and excitement, enthusiasm. Where does that come from?
Well, I think it started with my father. He was one of my biggest mentors in life. I started off as a Ford technician. I was a master technician at the age of 18, fresh out of high school. You know, from there, it's just been a passion. I think every son wants to do better than their father, and that's been a challenge of mine. He was a parts and service director. And I was bound and determined just to kind of one up that. But love my father. He's the reason I'm here. And, you know, he gave me the gift that I actually have. And that's the mechanical ability that I've had over the years. And my thirst for knowledge. I have to give my father that.
Good. Thank you, Dad. And I feel the same way about mine, too. But a master tech at 18?
Yes, sir. Started in a shop with guys probably twice my age. 18, 19 years old, working on the new fandangled computers coming out in these vehicles in the mid 80s. The old timers really didn't want to touch that. So off to school I went. My father packed my suitcase and sent me off to school, and became a master tech in a very, very short period of time.
Yeah. That's quite a feat.
That's a great
actually.
story.
Yeah, that is. I don't ever hear that. Is your father, will your father be watching this?
No, unfortunately, he passed away some years ago. He suffered from colon cancer, unfortunately, and he's just still in my heart.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I believe he'll still be he's still with you and he's still watching. So that's all good stuff. When as you climb that ladder, when did you actually become like a service manager, or because you keep jumping and jumping and jumping. Now, if you're a master tech at 18, it's possible you could have went right to corporate. I don't really know, but
no, actually became a shop foreman. My father had left the store that he had hired me at, and he moved up to Fort Pierce while I was still in Miami. At the age of 21, I became the shop foreman at that shop. Which was probably my toughest gig ever. Try telling guys twice your age what to do, how to fix a car. Typically, it doesn't go well.
Yeah,
it does not go well. So normally I would just get dumped on. I was stuck fixing on the trouble vehicles. So that was a whole lot of fun. Shortly thereafter, became a service manager. I was probably 28, 29 years old at the time. Had my first crack at service management and found out I was going to make a whole lot less money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds about appropriate, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Welcome to management.
Yeah, absolutely. And so charity,
Mm-hmm.
you have some really thought-provoking questions here.
I do. I have many.
Yeah.
And one of the first ones that comes to mind is, you've been in this industry a long time. So how is it different now, especially post-COVID, if we can call it that? I don't know if we can yet. I don't make the rules, but compared to now, all the way back to when you started, what are the significant industry changes that you've seen?
Well, probably more on the technology side. The vehicles are becoming more and more difficult. Less people obviously getting in our business. Those are probably a couple of the major changes that I see and then experience every single day. But it stuns me to see that. I think that the automotive industry itself is very, very slow and just resistant to change. Mm-hmm. You've got, a big push for EVs. They're finding out that the infrastructure is just not ready for that technology. Technology is wonderful. We're just not ready for it. And it's partly the automotive business's fault that we're not prepared for that. So there's a lot of changes out there. We're just reluctant to change.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you about EV. Now, we've had our finger on that temperature in the industry for a while, and we get different feedback. And is it the technology people don't want, or is it the fact that we don't really have the skills to work on those vehicles, or does the market not want it? What's your perspective?
My perspective is that the technology isn't there. Obviously, I still believe that Tesla is the best product out there in the EV space today. Obviously, there's other people that would argue that. The expense of these vehicles, the price range has put a lot of people out of the market. You think of the lack of charging stations, especially when you look at a majority of our population, especially here in San Antonio, that live in apartment buildings. You're not going to have hundreds of charging stations in these parking facilities, these parking lots at apartments. So that's a massive challenge that they have. So it's kind of the cart before the horse thing. Will we get there? Maybe. I'm hoping that there's bigger and better advancements in hydrogen. I think that's really where they need to go. I know that Toyota is really focusing on that. I think that's where our future's at. If it's truly about green energy, I think that hydrogen is the way to go.
That's amazing. I haven't heard that one yet.
No, that was a good one. I have a lot of thoughts on that. We've done many conferences where we talk about EV, AI, and how it might affect the future of fixed operations. And I think I don't know the latest statistics, but I know there's now there's no politics involved in any of this, right? None whatsoever.
Good.
But yeah, right. But Ford, for 6 months, it was after 4.5 billion. That's $25 million a day they lost due to EV. Now I'm in all kinds of rooms every single day, and I hear the same stuff that you just mentioned. At first, it was like, if you said anything derogatory, you were a naysayer and all this kind of stuff. Of course, that's depending on what part of the country you live in. But it's like the infrastructure is not there. It's just like what you said with charging stations, range anxiety. The so-called miles you get for a charge are about half that if you have any kind of weight in there, depending on the driving conditions and how fast and so on and so forth. And then our electric grid, that is a huge one. Are you hearing all the same stuff too, or?
All the same stuff and then some. So you talk about the lost tax revenue that they get from the lack of gasoline sales. A lot of those taxes go to pay repairs on our bridges and our roads. So you've got many states now that are implementing mileage taxes on EV owners.
Oh my God!
So they have to. They don't have a choice to do that. It's crazy, but so it's something that the EV ownership hasn't really thought about. It's a massive loss of tax revenue.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Okay, so what tools or resources do you think would be helpful to managers in fixed operations today? Some of the things you're doing, because I think you're quite cutting edge. I know you're a report guy. I meet a lot of guys and gals even like you, but not really like you. And let me preface that. So when I walk into
why don't you preface that? What are you talking about?
Preface that. So when I walk into his office, I mean, this guy is a machine when it comes to numbers. He's got his pulse on every number you could possibly imagine at his fingertips regarding technicians, advisors, parts, etc. In all 12 of those stores. And some of the stuff he shares with me when it's like amazing. He's got his pulse. That's technology for you, isn't it? Or some of it just?
It is. I'm a huge believer in software, Russell. I love software, but software has got to do one of three things. It has to eliminate a person. It has to make a person. I'm sorry about that. It has to replace a person, or it has to make someone at least 50% more efficient in their current position, opening them up for additional things for them to do to help our business grow and give them the ability to learn more and to wear different hats. It's a lot of times people get stuck into a position because they've made themselves so valuable in that position that there's no place for them to go. So I believe that software has to make somebody really, really efficient, eliminate the body itself, or to solve a problem. It has to do that. So it's very, very hard these days to find additional software that can do those things. But when I see them, I try to tear them apart, Russell, just kind of like I tried to tear your product apart. I'm gonna poke holes at it. Well, but I was simply amazed at what your tool can do and what it has done and what it's done for our service drives. It's actually quite amazing. I am a data person. And I want to be able to track how well my advertising dollar is working for me. And I can take your product and take it directly to my service drive. And I can follow it through the entire transaction. And that's what I love best about your product, because there's not too many of them out there that you can do that with, Russell.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Charlotte. That means a lot to me. So, for many meetings with you, I don't know why. It had nothing to do with you. It had everything to do with me. but there was a level of intimidation there because I don't know what you know. I'm not a fixed guy. I grew up on the variable side, but the last couple of visits that when I was down there were really great visits. You know, on not just on operations, but on the human side of things. And so I wanted to thank you for the time and for the things that you allowed me to share about me and what you shared about you as a vendor. Is it hard for vendors to get to you? And are there qualifying? Okay. Are there? It's really funny because I just walked right in his office, you know, and which is great. I feel honored. But what does somebody have to go through to even approach someone like you? I'm just curious.
You know, that is a really tough question to answer, Russell. You know, I get dozens and dozens of emails every single day. People, you know, shop you on LinkedIn and want every type of opportunity just to get in your face. I get that. But there's usually some small snippet of information where they identify an opportunity or a problem that our automotive business faces today. And it hits a certain pain point and it makes me click through their email and really dive into what they have to offer. But it's very, very difficult. I would say that maybe 2% of these emails grasp my whole 100% of my attention. It's difficult to get my attention.
Well, I know your time is very valuable, and I get similar things where other companies want to have some level of integration, or there's some real synergies there. Most of them, like they don't make the cut. Really, they haven't done any research at all. They don't even know what the hell they're talking about. In a lot of cases, they don't.
And that salesman will be gone in 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, they're just fishing more than anything. So, but I find it necessary, and I think you just alluded to it. At least you look at, and if it merits further review or further investigation, you do that. And I want to encourage all of you out there to do that. Technology is changing so rapidly that yes, you can't possibly look at everything because there's a lot out there, but don't have contempt prior to at least some investigation, because there's really some great up and coming stuff out there. And Charlie, you strike me as a progressive, somebody that wants to keep your finger on the pulse, or maybe you hear it from somebody else. That's another way it works for me too.
It works from just a quick snippet on an email. It may be something, you know, I enjoy going to NADA. Some of the vendors there probably don't like it as so much. I've been kicked out of a few booths. You know. Oh yeah.
If there's a story you would be shared with us, that would be great.
We want to hear it.
Yeah. If there's one. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, actually, one of our current vendors asked me to go to NADA on their behalf and just kind of hang out at their booth because, you know, as an avid and daily user of their products, I probably understood it more so than they did, actually. And it's
sure.
And it was a lot of fun. So there was some competing products similar. The company will remain unnamed. It's not fair to them, of course.
True.
But I went in for a quick demo. I started challenging them like I did on their data. I proved their data inaccurate. They had to admit it, but did not like probably the manner in which I proved them wrong, because they kept trying to argue something that was just clearly wrong. And sometimes I have no patience for that, and other times I just love to argue. And unfortunately, that was one of those days. I just love to argue. So they finally asked me politely, would you please leave our booth? Absolutely. I most certainly will leave your booth. Have a great day.
Sort of a badge of honor.
It is.
I don't know.
I've seen both sides of that with you, initially, like I said, I had some intimidation because I didn't know what to expect. And I like to pride myself with anybody, but particularly somebody in your position. I have no clue. I know enough to be dangerous. When I ran stores, I had somebody like you that I could count on and that I trusted. But beyond that, I think that's true. Would you agree that 80 to 85%? Yeah.
Russell, here's, and again, a feather in your cap. you know your product very, very well. You know the data. And no one can really challenge you on the data. And that's what I want to see from a vendor. I want somebody that knows their product better than I do. And in many cases, they don't. I mean, I call for support from my DMS today. And again, the DMS will remain nameless as well, but I'll call their support line and I'm educating that person on the other line about their product. And that becomes aggravating. And I never had to do that with you, but probably 9 out of 10 of our vendors, I have to. And that's a challenge. So, and then you'll see that salesperson working for somebody else.
Yep. Yeah. They come and go, and that's a real shame. Now, and I know you visit with the performance managers, et cetera, but there's a lot of people out there that I've known like you for a long time. And if something really gets out of whack or they need something, and I feel quite confident now, that means that something really major happened. If Charlie was to text me or call me about something that he hasn't been getting. But normally, Jennifer or whoever the performance manager, whatever, they supply you with reports, or plus you keep your finger on the pulse. And I guess where I'm going with all this, that you have a direct line to me if you ever need that. And that's really important with somebody that knows what you know, to get on the phone with somebody that you have to educate. That could be an enormous waste of time and frustration. And I can see that. Maybe that's why you're just like, you're real quick with people until they can make the cut or something like that.
Yeah, they have to prove themselves. And it's, no, Jennifer's been wonderful. First off, she gets me. She's a ton of help. And again, here, a difference about your company and other vendors, Russell, is probably one of my first experiences with Jennifer. She sent out an email to all of my managers that have your product and was genuinely offering her help. She knows her product very, very well. She knew the data, and she was extremely helpful to my managers who not only didn't understand the tool, but didn't really understand the market and what was working and what wasn't working and how to make those adjustments. And that makes all the difference in the world. Those are I hate to say vendors. I hate the term vendors. I like the word partners, because, together, if we succeed with your product, you're going to succeed. And that's the partnership that we're looking for. We're looking for partners, not necessarily vendors. The typical vendor is there to sell you a piece of software and move on to the next client. Your company, and what I've experienced thus far for the years that we've been with you, is just that. She genuinely wants to help us. She's concerned on the individual performance. She's made calls mid-month saying, hey, this is what I see. Tell me what you're seeing. She sends me my monthly leads just like I want, and I can compare that to the actual customers that show up on my drive and actually see the return on investment. So I couldn't be more pleased.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to say a few words about our new sponsor, WYNN'S. People who love cars love WYNN'S. With over 80 years of experience in innovation, WYNN'S leads the industry with product and system innovations that drive vehicle performance and longevity. WYNN'S leads through our innovation, our technology, and the products we create. We bring a legacy of superior performance that professional service providers trust through our heritage of innovative formulas and unparalleled service. It starts with fuel and oil, and it ends with excellence. Our dedication to research and development has led to more than 18,000 granted and pending patents across our company. And that drive continues today at WYNN'S. New vehicle technology like EV requires leading-edge service and products. WYNN'S ensures our products meet EV requirements and still provide the same high level of protection that we've always offered. We meet tomorrow's needs by using our knowledge and technology today. WYNN'S brings innovative, technically advanced, professional-grade solutions to the world. Our legacy of innovation and performance is always copied, but never outrun. So thank you, WYNN'S, for sponsoring the What the FixedOPS podcast.
Kudos to you, Jennifer. Right from Charlie. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay.
Love me some Jennifer.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let me circle back around. When we first started, I asked you some of the biggest changes you have seen over the years. And we talked a little bit about EV. And then you also mentioned, I think it was recruiting or perhaps retention, getting new people into the industry. So one of the questions that I have for you is, what is behind that? And what's more important? Is it retention or recruiting? And, tell us a little bit about the struggles that the auto industry is seeing in that realm right now.
Well, it's actually both. I'll start on the recruiting side. We talked about the lack of people getting into this industry, especially on the technical side of this. Right. I have a great relationship with the South Texas Vocational School here in San Antonio. Yeah. Very close relationship with them. I currently have 23 of their current and graduate students from that vocational school, and just over about probably a little under 3 years now. But I haven't seen a VOTEC school as dedicated to their students as South Texas Vocational. I love these people. The instructors are fantastic, very patient. The administrators, wonderful people. I stay in close contact with them. I probably talk to them every week. And I get the first opportunity at a majority of their applications.
I love it.
I love it too. But I also have the opportunity not to waste my time, meaning that the instructors kind of steer me in the direction of the young men and women that actually truly have the aptitude to learn and the desire to be. Let's just face it, there's some kids in there that are going to a vocational just to have their parents stay off their back. But there are so many people in this community, Russell and Charity, that really need our help. We've got single moms and single dads just trying to make a life for themselves and better themselves. And I feel so warm about the opportunity for us to help here at Ancira and help these young men and women. It's been fantastic. We're going there. I've got 5 or 6 of our general managers, half of my fixed operations directors. We're all going there the day before Thanksgiving and serve 500 of their students and faculty turkey dinner.
That's amazing.
It's a lot of fun. It's an absolute lot of fun. And to me, it's the best recruiting grounds that you could possibly have.
I hear this every day, literally multiple times a day. Recruiting problems, leadership problems. Sure. Do you have are you a big proponent of promoting from within and those types of things? Do you have other types of programs once you do hire them if they want to excel?
Oh, absolutely. So monthly, I have a fixed operations meeting. It's more of a training seminar. It's not sitting there going over, a spreadsheet with financial numbers on it. It's real problem solving, real issues that we're facing every day. I also have Service Manager University, something that, I kind of taken from one of my alma maters. We had a similar training program in a previous life, and I really, really love that, where we'll take a service technician or a shop foreman, an advisor, heck, even porters. I had 2 porters in my class and put them through Service Manager University, just kind of breaking them into the business. Wow. I think the right way, breaking them into management and finding out whether or not it's something that they would like to do. I don't want to waste their time or mine if that's not interest. If it's no interest to them, you face it, Russell. 95% of our employees it's just a job to them. It's just a job. But there's that 5% here that it's a career. They want to make it their career, and they're passionate about it. And those are the people that we try to identify early on and try to wrap our arms around them and mentor them. even if we don't have an immediate spot for them, if I hear something in the community that opens up, I'm going to serve them up, give them an opportunity. I'm not going to stand in their way for growth. And they realize that and they appreciate that.
So if somebody's, we have actually thought there's going to be a lot of people listening to this. Some people are right on the edge. And what I mean by that is that you could actually, with or without, it may be different. We're at Ancira, but you don't even need a high school diploma. You don't need $400,000 in college debt, where 92% of those people don't even work in the chosen fields that they got the debt from, but they can actually make more than people with 4-year college degrees. I know a lot of technicians that make well over $100,000 a year, and some actually even 200,000. I think that people don't really understand that. I mean, it's only 5%. I agree. The rest of it is just a job. But boy, I tell you what, if you turn it on and you have a mentor or somebody like Charlie and what they do with Ancira Enterprises and all the opportunities that are available, you could write your own ticket, man. It's just job security.
35% of my technicians make over $100,000 a year. 40% of my service advisors are 6 figures. So no, it's a very, very lucrative career. Very stressful, very, very stressful. I will never, ever sugarcoat it. Back when I was sitting in the chair as a parts and service director at a store, I wouldn't hire a service advisor unless they would come to my store on a Saturday. Where I was writing up 250 cars on a Saturday. It was complete. No, it was organized chaos. It was phenomenal.
You love it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I thrived in that. That was great. Saturday was my best day. If they couldn't hack it, right? If I just saw their body language going with their eyes wide open, like, oh my God, this may not be for you. This may not be for you. Being a service advisor, it's the 3rd most stressful job in America. It's crazy.
It really is. It is for those of you who probably caught it. He had the numbers on technicians and advisors to what percentage of them make. So, I mean, the guy's got his finger on the pulse, let me tell you.
Oh, no, I love numbers.
Question.
Yeah, so you don't, I assume you don't have a technician shortage problem at your dealership.
No, I honestly, I don't. You have to keep 33, 34, 35% of your shop has to be in that learning mode. You can't have a shop full of master technicians. Can't afford it. I don't know anybody can afford $50 an hour flat rate to pay somebody to change oil all day. So you have to have a great mix in your shops. The wonderful thing about my company and my fixed ops managers, to be honest with you, is that they believe in the mentorship as well. So we love lateral support. We have some wonderful group leaders that act as wonderful mentors for some of these young students, either coming out of the South Texas Vocational or coming out of the manufacturers training programs like CAP or ASAP. We've got some great leadership in place that helps and fosters a great learning environment for our young technicians. So we have a great mix of youth coming in. We have, some C or B level technicians, and we have our fill of master technicians. Now, if one falls out of the sky and in your lap, that's wonderful. That's great. But that doesn't happen all the time. So you really have to build your own.
So these shortages that we're hearing about, it's really, would you say it's more of a leadership problem at the dealership level? Or how come you're not having the same problem that we hear other people have?
It's really how you present. Here's some of the struggles that I see other dealerships and dealer groups have. So they'll take that student from South Texas Vocational who had spent 2 years in school learning to be a mechanic. And then they're hired at XYZ Garage, and then they toss them on the lube rack. They're changing oil. I guarantee you that person is going to be gone inside of 6 months. I've seen it happen time and time again. I I, along with my managers, don't let that happen. We can't. You can't let that happen. You have to realize if somebody's gone through 2 years of school and you know them and the struggles that they've had in their life, and then you throw them on the lube rack, shame on you. You deserve to lose them. We don't do that. They're going to be paired with a master technician. We're going to put them through the tests, see exactly what they know, and we're going to put them on a manufacturer's training program. And there's a lot of opportunity for them to get on a fast track and become masters in a very, very short time themselves. It's not for everybody. And is there going to be turnover? Absolutely.
Sure.
But you have to give the people the opportunity and not just shove them on a lube rack. Can't do that.
I hope everybody really got that one. If not, listen to it again. That's so important. 2 years at a school, and I come in and you put me on a lube rack and to change oil. I mean, that
doesn't make any sense.
No. And I love the pairing because in that there's some mentorship involved. There's finding out what their true talents are. Maybe one is for trim, another's for electrical, and others for whatever the case may be. And you also mentioned that I caught earlier, after 2 years, I don't remember exactly what you said, but understanding what they've been through. You know these people when they come in. You know what makes them tick for the most part, or you know the trials and tribulations they may have overcome, and you offer them an opportunity where you can help turn that around. That's part of leadership. Where did that come from with Charlie? How did that develop in you?
It's, working with different vocational schools has taught me that. South Florida, I had a very close relationship with the director at the local vocal school there in South Florida. I worked with him, and we together mentored his students to compete in the AAA contests every year. He was a very, very competitive teacher. He loved to win, and I loved that about him. And he would bring his students over, and I would bug some cars, and we would let them try to solve all the problems there. And he made some great students, and during our conversations, and it happens here at South Texas as well, when I talk to the administrators, that's the first thing I'm interested in. What's been going on in their lives? The first person we hired, I'll never forget this young man, Chris. He was 27 years old, young guy, single parent, had a 3-year-old daughter.
Wow.
And he wanted nothing more than a better life for his child. And to hear the struggles that he had went through, losing his parents and just the things that had gone on in his life, I just had such a vested interest in him to help him succeed. And he's a master. He's a master technician. And
wow.
Just warms my heart that we were a part of his success. It's amazing.
We are passionate about helping consumers find a great, trusted place to get their car fixed. We have 4 million uniques who come to our website each month for car repair information, and we help them find our REPAIRPAL certified locations. We also have amazing partners like USAA that offer our REPAIRPAL certified network to their customers and members. So how are we going to help dealers? Well, dealers sell 100% of the cars, but over time, after the warranty expires, the repairs go up and up and the revenue potential goes up, but people keep leaving the dealer over time after the warranty. By years 10 or 12, only about 20% of people are still servicing at the dealer. Why is that? There's one dominant reason, and that is price perception. And being REPAIRPAL certified helps you overcome the primary price perception problem. So come let us show you how REPAIRPAL can help you too.
So apparently, you'd mentioned right off the bat, your mentor and your go-to was your father. And is that where and I'm trying to go someplace with this. So we all have, like some of the people you just mentioned, we all have, turning points or defining moments or things that we want. And it's almost like when the student's ready, the teacher will appear, or vice versa. Was there moments in your life where maybe you were on the fence and you really didn't know? I mean, for heaven's sake, at 18 years old, you were a master tech.
Yeah.
Were you just hungry like that, or was there ever before, during, or after? Was there ever a time where it's like you flatlined, like because of your age and partying and things that people go through, and they get off track and they get back on track, and some don't ever get back on track? Did you have any times like that in your life?
Russell, thank goodness, I haven't experienced any of those issues. At a very, very young age, I was working shoulder to shoulder with my father, in our carport. I had a very humble childhood. We didn't have a ton of money. My father was a mechanic. My mother worked as a directory assistance operator. So, there wasn't a ton of money. My father worked, 5-6 days a week. And then on the weekends, we're sitting there fixing cars in our garage. And that's where I learned. It was just always been who I was. I'd never deviated. I never looked at a different career. This is all I've ever wanted to do. And I still want to do it. I'm not looking out anywhere else. I don't ever want to quit. I don't want to quit.
Now, what does your wife say about that?
Oh, she's absolutely good with that. She's absolutely good with that.
I see. Okay.
She would have, if I was home all day, she'd kill me. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So on the parallel lines of mentorship and you being mentored and mentoring others, what do you think is some knowledge that you hold that if you didn't have it, you would be unable to do your job to the fullest and perhaps wouldn't be able to mentor the next generation down to come up?
Charity, are you referring to my current position or, maybe as the regular store manager?
Well, it's open to interpretation. So
Okay.
Whatever strikes it for you.
Okay. Well, let's with the current position. I rarely give a ton of credit where credit's due, but I've had my father on the mechanical side was a great mentor, but in my current position, there were quite a few other people in my life for my time at AutoNation that I probably should credit with a lot of my current knowledge and really my current position, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. Just to name a few of them, you probably see them on LinkedIn and know who they are. But, Dean Estep was a wonderful fixed operations trainer for AutoNation, taught me so much. And he really taught me to be, a better father, a better person, and to want to share the knowledge that I had. I was really one of those cocky technicians that didn't want to share a lot of what I knew or go over and help my fellow man. That wasn't me. I was a prima donna. And, if you want it fixed, put it in my stall. I'll fix it. Leave the ticket there. That was me. I was kind of a jerk. But my time at AutoNation, the Greg Mansons, the Tom Callaways, the David Ballones, the Bob Pouchers, the Mark Chisners of the world. My acquaintances there throughout my 10 years at AutoNation have really put me where I'm at today. And those people I owe a lot of gratitude to. They're fantastic.
That's grateful. Surrounding yourself with people like that is really, really important.
Been very blessed.
Do you make it to all the stores? Do you have any kind of ritual? I know you're not in the office all day. I know you're not wired that way because you really from what I've seen, engaging with people. Do you walk through the shops and talk with people and stuff like that?
That's the first place I start.
Love it.
A lot of us gravitate to where we're comfortable. Some people will gravitate to the front end and go to the showroom and spend some time with the general manager and hobnob with that person. That's the last person I want to touch. I want to go in and I want to talk to the technicians. I want them to know that I'm approachable. I want to talk about today's technology. Hell, I just want to talk about them and their kids. They're great people, and they don't get the attention that they should. They don't get much of the attention that they should. So I love to start my day there. Obviously, going through the service drive, I love talking to customers. That's a lot of fun. Selling additional sales requests and showing a service advisor how it's done is really good too. Dusting off some of the rust and just interacting with customers. It's great. Just love the business. I just love the business also. But I try to hit 2 or more stores a day, unless I'm working on a project or something for the owner. I try to hit at least 2 stores a day.
That's great. That doesn't happen a lot. And like Charity mentioned, and I see too, you are an anomaly. There's people out there like you, but they're an insignificant amount in the overall scheme of things. It's like every day there's a shortage. There's this problem. There's that problem. They're bitching and complaining about this or that. And
Fix it.
Yeah. So, and they're gonna hear some of this stuff. I don't, but this vocation school. And I know some that are very successful.
I hear them.
Yeah,
I hear them at the vocational schools. I hear them all the time. We need factory trained technicians. No, it's your job to get them factory trained, not Votech school.
Exactly.
So no.
So if at the end, because there's going to be some people, they may reach out to me, they may reach out to Charity. I don't really know, but they might want to talk to you, or if somebody lives in the area that loves what they heard about the people part of it, because really in the overall scheme of things, you and I talk about, people want to know they count, they matter, they make a difference, and they're part of something. So I don't care if it's Alpha, Gen Z, Gen Y, millennials, you got a place for everybody. And some of the schedules you have at the dealership, are they different, or have things evolved with the newer people coming into the industry from these Votech schools and stuff like that?
Try to narrow the scope of that question, Russell. I didn't.
Okay, so you have somebody in their 20s, okay, that they think completely different than we do, and the things that are important to them are different than the things that are important to you and I. And
of course,
do we acknowledge that, and are we somewhat flexible? Because you mentioned a young man that had a 3-year-old, okay, and he just wanted to be able to provide for his child. Do you allow opportunities of flexibility? I guess that's what I meant.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Tell about that.
I completely understand that. So, going back to that rigid fixed ops guy, this is the schedule. We're open from, you're going to be here from 8 to 6 and an hour lunch, and there's no deviation from that schedule. Well, that's a little too rigid and very unattractive today. You mentioned today's youth. Sometimes, time off or time with their family is a little bit more valuable to them versus, making $50 an hour flat rate. Sometimes them coming in at 6:30 in the morning and leaving at 3:30 for a single parent makes all the sense in the world. So they're there to pick up their kid from school. Can we allow for that? Absolutely. My last stint as a parts and service director at a store, I had 4 different schedules for technicians.
Oh my gosh.
I had 4-day work weeks. I had 3-day work weeks. I had an evening shift. It was all over the place. You can't be that rigid. There was never a time to be that rigid. It's just to me, it's closed-minded.
I tell you, these are talking points I hear every day. Where I start out and all the different places I go where I'm engaged with fixed ops people. As a matter of fact, I got to share one thing. There's 2 different rooms I go to in this place called Clubhouse, and there'll be 75 or 100 people in there, and they're complaining and talking about the same things that I talked about in 1985 when I got into the business. And they just, for whatever reason, it's like, so when I hear a lot about flexible schedules, about allowing people, with different priorities at different times to be able to accommodate that. It might be a little bit more work, but the kind of stuff that you're talking about, I hope every one of you listening to this understand these are all the things that if you're in the rooms I'm in, you're looking for solutions and you're looking for ways to have a different tomorrow. And this is a guy that's doing that. They don't have a technician advisor problem. Sure, they got turnover. Yeah, but not like some of the people that I know of out there. And it's not a rigid, you're here at 6 or you're here at 7 and you leave at 5 or 6 and that's it. You get an hour for lunch and you can't see your kid play tennis or softball or anything like that. You can't pick them up from daycare. You're going to have to hire an Uber driver. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I still hear at some of these dealerships, and they wonder why they have a problem with turnover. Sure. It's not magic, coincidence, or luck. It's just priorities and has to do with people, Charlie. People.
And that's what's probably created our shortages.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that makes a lot more sense. It brings it full circle for me, and it makes me curious. Now, are there certain personality type that want to work in automotive and become leaders like yourself? Is there certain things that you look for in their personalities?
I want to see somebody want to help themselves. It's too often that we will see a technician or a service advisor just constantly coming to you with a problem. Versus, I hate the old adage, coming to me with a solution as well. Don't mind you bringing up all the problems, bring them all up, but give us some sort of idea that you think would work, as a resolution. So when we see somebody come with a resolution to a problem, it makes me take notice, makes me ask, another series of questions and just kind of see where their mind's at, and if they have the desire and the aptitude to further along their career and maybe get into a management position. So it's interesting. It's hard to recognize, and unfortunately, with 800 employees at a dealer group, it's a little tough to do that. So they really have to raise their hands.
I love it. And we didn't even get through half the questions, but I know we're getting here to the end, and I got to ask you about this. In different parts of the country, it's become a big talking point. Tell us what thoughts you have right now, and are you open about pickup and drop off and mobile service? What does that look like for you in San Antonio?
Well, I know a lot. Yeah, I'm still on the fence with this, Russell. I look at it, unfortunately, I start with the liability aspect of that, having a technician working off-site, being behind the wheel, being at someone's house and working on a vehicle, and some of the risks that are involved, not only, to my technician, but, to the customer themselves. Sometimes it's really not a convenience. We look at that as being a convenience, and maybe it's not. Dropping somebody off a loaner vehicle and picking up their vehicle, I'm kind of okay. I'm not a big fan of sending a mobile vehicle out there with a technician just because of the risk factor. And it's very difficult. If you really put a pencil to it, is it profitable? You may pick up some good CSI surveys. You may not. If the person's still upset, if you're using it as an appeasement because they're already upset with you, you've already lost. I like the idea of rideshare. I like that Uber and Lyft have gotten into that portion of the business. It integrates well with our DMS systems. So I'm really cool with that because it can make a service advisor and a company a little bit more efficient, where a customer is not sitting there waiting on the loaner or the shuttle bus to come back. That may be gone an hour and a half or 2 hours. You can go ahead and put them in an Uber, a nice clean Uber. And like I said, it integrates well with the DMS. So the billing and the tracking is simplistic. It's a better customer service approach. A lot of people are familiar with Uber. I think that's a great option, if you will. Because I hate shuttle buses and shuttle drivers. I kind of hate to do that, because if that person calls in that day, what do I do? So your manager's out there driving the shuttle bus for the day.
No, thank God for Uber and Lyft, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. So most of the customers prefer to bring their vehicles in, and large majority of those are waiters. A lot of them are express service. We have a very robust loaner program here, so I don't think we need to go down that road. I know some companies out there seem to be successful, but when I put a pencil to it many times, it just doesn't pencil out.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine the liability issues. I mean, and
Sure.
just what that is. So we are at a wrapping up point. And Charity, do you have a final thought or question? Or
Well, my final thought, that's an interesting perspective because pickup and drop off has been, ever since COVID has been, the way to go and get them, right? And it's interesting when you think about the variables, all the different possibilities that go into, like, what if there's a weapon in the vehicle, and I mean, there's like a millions of different variables that could happen that you have to deal with. So it makes so much sense to be cautious in that arena.
Absolutely. So Charlie, we got a couple minutes left, and
Sure.
If we're going to kind of just open it up, if there's something that's on your heart or mind that you want to share, or a statement or comment, or promote, something, so people can, follow in similar type of footsteps to instill or motivate somebody, feel free to do that now if you like.
I would love to see more fixed ops managers and general managers in particular visiting your local vocational schools. There's a lot of great students, a lot of great people. We currently have, I think we're at 5 female technicians
Right on.
in our organization. I think that is so cool. I love seeing it. Obviously is creating such a bathroom challenge for us, but that is a welcome challenge.
Right.
Absolutely. I love seeing women, not only behind the service advisor desk, but I love seeing them under the hood. It's amazing. So I just implore people to get involved with your community, get to these vocational schools, meet the instructors. They are super people. They truly care because they're not getting paid a ton of money. They can go and wrench somewhere else and make a lot more money, but they just have a passion to teach what they know. And I'm just amazed at the level of talent that's in some of these schools. So there's just one bit of advice, general managers, get involved. You don't have to think you don't know fixed operations. You do. It's nothing more than sales. We just sell a different product. So get involved. Get involved.
Charlie, thank you so much. And listen, a lot of you are watching this. There were some really great takeaways, all of it actually, and nuggets of things that a lot of you know me, that you're talking about these things, and he's executing these things. Okay, so there's a lot of great tidbits out there. Check them out. Like our stuff, love our stuff, share our stuff, make comments. If you don't like something, let me know. Okay, you're okay. Trust me, you can try to catch him and let him know. Oh, he'll let you know. Trust me. Anyway, Charlie Monteleone with Ancira Enterprises, corporate fixed ops director. Thank you so much for coming on another successful episode of What the Fixed Ops.
Thanks,
Charlie.
Thanks,
Charity.